Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to this Python course. So in the previous lecture, we have done module 3, that is operators and control statement. In this part, we will cover the next part of the module 3, that is control statements. In the previous lecture, we will cover only the operators part. Now we will cover the control statements. In the control statement, we will look upon if-else statement, nested if-else, for loops, while loops, break statement, continue, pass, and then we will perform the exercise. So let's begin. Okay. So if-else statement. The syntax of if-else statement is something like this. If we have a Boolean expression, this Boolean expression evaluates to either true or false. If the Boolean expression result is true, then the particular statements are being executed which are written after the colon. Else, if the condition is false, then it will go into this loop or in this particular block of code and execute these statements. For example, we have a program in which we wanted to check whether a particular number is even or odd. Then I is a variable which holds the value 10, and we are checking this is the expression which will yield us either true or false. If this expression holds true, then we'll say the number is even, else the number is odd. And this Boolean expression is our main logic for checking whether the number is even or number is odd. So let's try to do it practically. So I have already launched my Anaconda Navigator and would be clicking on Jupyter Notebook to launch it. Okay, now my Jupyter Notebook has been launched. Now I go into documents, GitHub projects, then I go to Python trainings, Trunic, and then I create a new Python notebook. So this Python notebook I named as module 3 control statements. Okay, let's begin. So now, first of all, I will have some number that is equal to 10. So this number we wanted to check whether this number is a even number or a odd number. So what is the logic? First we need to check whether a particular number is even or odd. So let's check it out. We know that a particular number when divided by 2, right, its remainder is 0. So that number is known as even number. In other terms, we can say that all the numbers which are divisible by 2 is known as even numbers, and the numbers which are not divisible by 2, that are odd numbers, right? So how to check this divisibility? So in the previous lecture, we have done the modulo operator. This operator will result in or will help us in giving us the remainder. If we try to divide number modulo 2, right, then it will give us either 0, right, or it will give us either 1. If it gives us 0, then we can say that number is even number because the number is completely divisible by 2. But if it doesn't give 0, right, it has the 1 remainder, it will give us the odd number, right? So let's check it out. So what I have done is I have initialized the number variable to 10, and now I am checking out number is divisible by 2. Let's check it out. So when the number is divisible by 2, it is giving us the remainder as 0. And now we can put it in a condition. If number is divisible by 2 equal to 0. Now this is known as the comparison operator, right, which we have already discussed in the previous lecture, right. So this condition we are checking it, this expression we are checking it whether it is equal to 0 or not, and it will yield us true or false value, right. So this number is true, this condition is true, the expression evaluated, this expression is evaluated and it will give us the result as true, right. Now we have put this condition in the if condition. If the number is divisible by 2 equal to 0, then we put a colon, right, we want to do something, right, take out all the numbers which are divisible by 2, right, or the number is even, or we wanted to print whether the number is even or number is odd, then we'll say that. Now you check, now you see we have done here colon. After colon, when we press enter, so the space is one tab space, right. So in the previous languages such as C++ or C, so we used to have curly braces, but now in Python there is no such concept of curly braces, it has colon, right. By typing colon and typing enter, it will, the code written after the colon, it is saying that it is under this if condition, right. Now you can write print number is even, right, and now whatever you write is basically inside this if condition, right. You could write your another statement also, but if you wanted to write if loop, then the if loop will come exactly after the if condition, that if keyword. So this is the if keyword, and exactly beneath it you need to write else and followed by a colon. It says if this expression is true, then execute these statements, else if it is not true, then execute these statements. So we'll have to write print number is odd, right. So we have a number which is equal to 10 and we wanted to check whether the number is even or odd, right. So we simply done a program using if else condition whether to check whether the number is even or odd. You can also modify this, right. You can take input also, right. In the previous lecture we have also studied about the input command, and we typecast to integer. Now we run the program and it says enter the number. Suppose I entered 15, so it says number is odd, right. Again I entered 80, it says number is even. So this way you can get a user defined value or user defined number, and then you could check whether the number is even or number is odd. So this way your if else loop works, right. Okay, so this is a simple basic if else loop, but what if your program needs to check long list of conditions, then you have to use multiple if elif statements. Elif is just other like if statement only, right. It says if the expression holds true, go to this loop, elif go to this, elif go to this. So whichever conditions falls true, so it will go to that statement, or it will execute that many statements. If it doesn't holds any of these expressions, it will go into the else loop, right. This is how if elif else loop works, right. Now okay, let's do a example of if elif loop. if. Okay, so for example, I am taking the input from the user, and in the input user is entering the day, what day is it, right? So it says if today equal to Sunday, print watch TV, right? Then elif today equal to Monday, print go to work. Elif today equal to Tuesday, print go shopping. And else right. So now we had made a program of multiple if else statements. So if today is Sunday, it says go watch TV, and if today is Monday, go to work. If today is Tuesday, go for shopping. If the user enters some other day, then it will say go home and rest, right? We have the condition set for Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. For Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday, so it says go home and rest. So now we'll see how we can do this program. Suppose I enter Monday, it says go to work, right? I again enter Sunday, it says watch TV. Again I enter suppose Saturday, it says go home and rest. So this is how your nested if else statements work, right? Okay, now we have the nested if else statements, right? So in the nested if else statements, so we can put a if condition inside another if condition. For example, it says in this slide says today is equal to holiday and bank balance is equal to 25,000. It says if today is a holiday, right? Then it have another condition. If today is a holiday, if bank balance is greater than 20,000, go for shopping, right? If today is not a holiday, what will you do? It's a normal working day, right? Then it says if today is a holiday and bank balance is not equal to 20,000, else watch TV. So this is how your nested if statements can come inside another if statements. This is the example of nested if else. So let's execute this and let's try it out. Right? First we make a variable named today and put a value Sunday. Right? Now we are saying if today equal to Sunday. Now one thing to note, so this is comparison operator. Earlier also I have explained it. Don't confuse comparison operator to assignment operator. So assignment operator is something which assigns the value and comparison operator compares the value. This is assignment operator. This is comparison operator. Right? If today is Sunday, right? We wanted to print, right? It's Sunday. If it is not, then else go home and watch TV or go to work, right? Okay, so this is your normal if else loop. If today is Sunday, it's Sunday, else go to work. Instead of writing it's Sunday, I have another condition inside the if condition, that is if salary greater than 20,000, right? Then you need to print something that says go for shopping, right? If today is Sunday and salary is not greater than 20,000, then what will you do? Else print go home, watch TV, right? So this Sunday we could take it from the user input, right? So it says today is Sunday, go for shopping, right? So salary also we could take it. So it says Sunday, enter the salary 25,000. So it says go for shopping, right? And if say salary day is Sunday and salary is equal to 10,000, it says go home and watch TV. So this is how your nested if else statements work, right? Okay. Now we'll move to the next loop, next control statement, that is while loop. So far we have done if statements and nested if else statements. So this is another loop which does something while the condition is true. While begins with a while keyword followed by the condition followed by a colon, and inside underneath the colon you need to write something statements which you need to execute. So this statements will go on executing until this condition is true, right? So this is very much dangerous in terms it, because it will, while this condition is true, it will keeps on executing and there is no breaking point to end this loop, right? So you need to very careful while designing your while loops. You need to have some incremental or stopping condition or some incremental value, so that you need to stop it at some particular point. If you don't stop it at some point, it will go on keep on executing and it will end up in at infinite times, right? And your system, it will take all your resources of your system and eventually you need to close your notebooks or your IDE, right? So this is how this is very dangerous. So this is a simple while loop in which we have a while loop, the count is less than 10, right? So count is less than 10, right? Count is always less than 10 because we have initialized through count to 0 and it will print the count. If we don't write this statement count is equal to count plus 1, it will keep on printing count, right? So this is very dangerous. So you need to come up with the stopping condition that if this count is equal to 10, right, then this while loop will not get executed and it will not print count. So this is your stopping condition, count is equal to count plus 1, right? When the count will become 10, this while loop will not get executed. So this is the while loop. So let's practice this. Okay, so I will initialize a variable named count equal to 0, then while count is less than 10, right? Now we need to print the value of count. If I type like this and execute this, it will keep on printing count because this condition is always true, because, right, so count is equal to 0 and count is less than 10, this is always true. while true it is keeps on executing until you need to restart your Jupyter notebook, right? You can try this yourselves because it will take, I need to restart my Jupyter notebook. So now what I'll do is count plus equal to 1. So I'm incrementing the value of count equal to 1. So at first time it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and after 10 this loop will not get executed. This print count will not be executed, right? At first it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and when it is 10, the value of count is 10, it will not enter the while loop. So this is how your while loop works, right? So one thing to remember, while loop is dangerous, avoid using it, but if you wanted to use while loop, then it must have a stopping condition. Then we have a break statement. So what does break statement do? Break statement allows us to break out of the loop. Okay, so for example, we have this count equal to 0, same example, while count is less than 10, we have incremented the value of count is equal to count plus 1. If the value of count is equal to 5, it says if the condition this satisfied, you need to break out. Break out from where? You need to break out from this while loop. It will directly, control will pass directly to this and it will execute out of this and it will say it is out of this while loop, right? Right? If this condition is not satisfied, it says inside the loop count. We'll see this and we'll understand it better. So we have made a count. We have made a count is less than 10. Right? If value of count is equal to 5, right? Break, print, this is inside the loop. Right? So now you can see that here when the value of the count was 5, right? So it has gone out of this loop and it directly control passes here. So this is hard to explain. So let us try with PyTutor. So this is a very good site in which you could visualize your Python code, right? Even if you don't understand some piece of code, you can visualize your code and get help also, right? Let's understand and visualize this break statement in the pythontutor.com. So I'll copy this and we'll try to visualize your while break statement here. Okay, so now I'll do visualize. Okay, now in this part, now the cursor is here at count equal to 0. Now by using next, I will execute one by one each and every statement and you will get to know what is happening in the background. Okay, now we have created a global frame in which value of count is equal to 0. That's perfectly fine. So we have initialized the variable to 0. Now it is entered into the while loop because the condition is satisfied while count is less than 10. So count was 0, it is less than 10. Now the value of count is equal to count plus 1. Now you can see that after executing your third statement, the value of count will become 1. So now it has become 1 because this statement has been executed. Now it is checking whether if the count is equal to 5, it will go into this loop or not. No, it has directly passed into this because the value of count is equal to 1 and here it says it is 5. So now it will print inside the loop. Now it has printed inside the loop. It is again gone into this statement because the value of count is equal to 1 and it is checking while the count is less than 1, less than 10. Yes, it is. It will again go into it. It will increment the count. It will check whether if the count is equal to 5. No, it is not. It will not break it. It will print inside the loop. It has again printed inside loop. Similarly, it will go again count incremented 3, it will check, it will not go into the break part and inside the loop. Fourth time also it will go the same, right. Now you see, now the value of count is equal to 5, right, got it. Now it is checking if the value of count is equal to 5, now it will enter the break part. Now it has entered the break part. Now you will see what is gonna happen. Now it has directly gone out of this while loop. Now you can see it is print out of the while loop, out of the loop. So it says out of the loop. This is how your while loop and your break statement gets executed, right. Hope you find it interesting and visualization is better in case of Python tutor, right. Okay. Now similarly we have another statement, that is continue, right. So what does continue does? When the continue statement is encountered in the loop, it ends the current iteration and the program controls goes to the end of the loop body, right. Okay. So what it does is, this is a similar example. We have the count equal to 0 and while count is less than 10, then we are incrementing the value of count. Here if we are checking the value of count is, right, modulo 2 equal to 0, then we say continue. We are skipping the iteration and the control again passes to the previous part, that is count equal to count plus 1, right, if this statement is executed, right. Let us try to first practically do this and then we'll try to visualize it. So here we have the count equal to 0 and we'll say while count is less than 10, right. We are incrementing the value of count, right. Then we say if count equal to 5. Let us take the same example and instead of writing the continue break, we'll write the continue, right. Then we'll say print inside the loop, right. Okay. Now you check, it is inside the loop, value of the count is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you see, if the value of count is equal to 5, so it has skipped this pass, it will not get executed in the next statement. So it has gone up and the value of the count has been incremented, right. So the only difference between break statement and continue statement is that break lets you come out of the loop, but the continue will not come out of the loop, but it will get you incremented to the value, right. So it will pass the control to the previous statement. So let us try to visualize it by using your Python tutor. Okay. Now global frame has been created, value of count is 0 initially. Now we are checking, we are going into the while loop, count has been incremented to 1, it is checking while the count is equal to 5, no it is not, it will print inside the loop of value count 1 is printed. Similarly second, third, 4. Okay, now the value of count is equal to 5. Now you need to check what is happening. Now it is saying if the count is equal to 5, yes it is, it has gone to continue. Continue, what it will do is, it will pass the control to this one, while loop, right. So it has passed the control to while loop and it is checking while the count is less than 10, yes it is, because count is equal to 5, then it will increment that value, right. So The only difference between break statement and continue statement is that it is passing the control to the while loop, but break lets you out of this while loop, right? The only difference is that. So now you can understand the difference between continue and break. So this is very useful. In this break statement is very useful, in which you could end a particular iteration if some value has been achieved, right? Okay, now we'll go for the for loop. So for loop is something, it lets you to iterate over a sequence, right? So for item in some iterable, for example, you wanted to do something with your item, right? So this item is a temporary variable which takes in the form of a iterable. So whatever values this iterable holds, so iterable is something kind of a bag, right, in which you have some values, right? So this is a temporary variable which holds at a current position the values which are present in the bag, and it can do something with these items which are present in the bag. So iterable could be a stream of values like list, strings, tuples and dictionary, right? So these topics will cover in the next lectures, right? So don't get confused. So this will for loop will do there also when we will working with this list, strings, tuples or dictionaries, right? The basic syntax for loop is something like this for item in iterable, right? Similarly, so these are some colors present in a list. So this is a array, right? So basically this is an array of some values of some colors, and we wanted to print colors one by one. So we are taking a temporary value of color in the colors list and printing that. So this is how your for loops works, right? So here I have a list that is colors red, green and blue. I say for color in colors, print color. So red, green, blue gets printed one by one. So this is your temporary variable. So it can have any value. So you can also have I, j, k, anything you want, right? So you can write temp also, right? Here I need to change it by t, sorry. So here you can write temp also, and here also you need to change it, right? So this is how your for loop works. Then we have the range function. So range is a function, it creates a list of arithmetic progressions, right? For example, I wanted to have a range from 0 to n. So it takes the range from 0 to n minus 1. For example, here you specified a range for 5, it will take from 0 to 4 only, and you wanted to have this range outputted, right? Similarly, for I in range from 0 to 50, right, print I. So it will print me the numbers ranging from 0 to 49. This is how range function works. So this is very useful, and we will be dealing with this range function often, very often, right? Similarly, there is a step function also. If you wanted to go for it, it will only print 0 to 4, that is all the numbers which are even, right? Okay, so range function takes two arguments, that is one is the start and then it is the end, right? So it will take n minus 1 specified from start and end is n minus 1. It will start from the start and it will end to n minus 1. Similarly, you can have a step function also, right, in which you could skip this middle part, that 5 is skipped, 7 is skipped, right? Then we have the enumerate function. So enumerate function, what it does, it not only prints the value, it also have the index. For example, in the previous part in the colors, we wanted to also check whether this value is present at what index, right? So we have the enumerate function. For example, so we have the colors for index comma value in enumerate, then we pass the colors print index comma value. So what it does, it has printed the index that red is present at index 0, blue is present at index 1, and green is present at index 1 and blue at index 2. So this is how it can hold the value. This you could have these are basically temporary variables, as I already said. So you could have a I, K, index, value, anything, whatever you feel like, you could write these names. Okay. So 0, 1 and 2, right? So there are different methods in which you could do the same operation by using or iterating through the elements by using while loop, for loop, right? So this is the Pythonic way. You could do the same operation by using a while loop, provided you need to have your stopping condition, right? If you don't provide the stopping condition, it will go infinite times. And this is for loop in the range format. So you need to iterate to the specific range, that is the list length, right? These topics we will cover when we will deal with the topics of list or strings. So for this point of time, you need to only remember the syntax for the for, right? Syntax for the while loop, right? And how this working is done, right? Now we'll encounter the pass statement. So pass statement in Python is used when the statement is required syntactically, but you don't want to write any code to execute. For example, in your company, your manager has told you to have some implementation of the code, but is not sure what to write in this code, right? So now some business logic has to be implemented in this particular function, but you are not right sure what to implement. Then you make the function and write a pass that this needs to be done. So pass statement is basically a null operation. Nothing will happen when it executes. And it is also useful in places where your code will eventually go, but it has not been written yet, right? For example, what I do is, I have written for I in range for 10, I'll do pass, right? I will not, this command will get executed, but it will not print anything, right? So we'll do this thing. Let me show you. For I in range from 10, right? So this, it will give you error, but if you wanted to execute this, you need to write a pass. It will do nothing, right? So this is how pass is sometimes advantages, in which you don't want to write anything or don't want to execute anything, but you need to write something for your part, or write a definition, or define a function, right? Okay. Now we will move to the exercise. So there are basically two programs which I wanted to give you and try. I want you guys to try it out, right? I will not be sharing the answer in this lecture. I will be sharing the solution to these problems in the next part, right? Because I want you guys to try it out. So the first program is named as phrase bus. I wanted to write a program, right, and take the numbers ranging from 0 to 100, and I wanted to check whether the number is divisible by 3, we wanted to print phrase. Whether the number is divisible by 5, print buzz. And if the number is divisible by both 3 and 5, print phrase buzz, right? I repeat it again. You wanted to write a program, right, ranging from numbers 1 to 100, right? For that you will use a for loop, and range, right? Second is that we wanted to check if number is divisible by 3, right? Then we need to put in a condition, that is if condition, right? If it is divisible by 3, you need to write print phrase, right? Then we'll write elif number is divisible by 5, print buzz, right? Also you need to type the number, right? If you don't type the number, how will you know whether my program is right or not, right? Then you'll type if number is divisible by 3 and number is divisible by 5, print number phrase bus, right? So this is how your first program output will come, right? I want you guys to try this out, right? Second program is, I wanted to write all the prime numbers ranging from 20, 30, 40, anything, right? So first of all, we'll understand what is a prime number. So prime number is a number which is divisible by itself and 1, right? For example, let's take the example of 10, right? So what we will do is, the basic logic of prime number is that first we'll check whether 10 is divisible by 2. Yes, it is. It is not a prime number because it is divisible. Let's check 7. So 7 is divisible by 2. No, it is not. 7 is divisible by 3. No, it is not. 7 4. No. 7 5. No. 7 6. No. 7 7. Yes. 7 is divisible by 7 itself and it is divisible by 1 also, right? So the logic behind the prime number is that the number is itself divisible by 1 and itself, then we consider it as a prime number, else we don't consider it as a prime number, right? So this is the logic we need to find out, right? And by using the range function, we'll get the number and then we'll check whether the number is divisible by it or not, right? So I want you guys to try these two programs, and in the next part we'll discuss it, right? Okay. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching.